Hello, my Teaserking family. It took me a while to go live. I was watching The Circle for a while, but I am here. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. I do want to talk about this article I read this morning on sports handicappers, and I kind of got a little bit not upset, but in typical fashion, I was a little upset where it's trying to say, the handicappers don't know anything. If they were so good, why would they sell their picks? We just some guy who loses money who's looking to pick up cheap money. And I really got upset because, in fact, as you know from watching me, that I actually do know what I'm doing. I'm not doing it for the little bit of money. I'm doing it to help people. And you'll see the same thing with economists who are talking about silver and gold now. Intellectual people. Why does a millionaire get on YouTube and talk about it? Why does Andy Scheckman get on and talk about silver going to explode? He owns millions of dollars of silver and gold. Why does he come on and do it? He doesn't benefit from it. So, yes, I can pick it. Yes, I figured it out, and I know how to pick games, as you see, with what I pick. And no, I don't go 50%, as the guy suggests. I'm relating to a story on Google. If you just go into Google, it'll come up as stories. And one of the stories was that, if you get 55%, you'll be rich. And I'm like, you got to know how to bet. You got to know, and he was trying to relate. His tips were to bet the game early before the line moved, and have 10 or 15 different bookies so you can get the best line. Okay, again, it doesn't really matter. Yes, of course you want the best line, but that's like my first class, right? Go get a bunch of bookies and get the best line. Other things he said, which really didn't make any sense, was just, we don't know what we're talking about, and we're not honest, and we're doing it because we're losing betting. That's why I post my results on Teaserking. I think I won, $50,000 this year. I do it to help. I charge a little bit. Okay, you can get on me for charging, but it's a nominal amount so you can make money, and it's professional. Again, I'm trying to but let's look at an accountant or an attorney. They charge money, right? Why does an attorney charge money if he's got $1 million? Why does he charge? Why does an accountant charge? He's got all this money. Why is he charging you to come in and do your books? Why does Kroger's charge you for meat? They got millions of dollars. Why does Bill Gates charge us for Microsoft when he's got billions of dollars, or Zuckerberg and Facebook? It's just business. I'm charging you as a business, but I'm keeping it cheap so you can afford it. And I give discounts, as most of my customers know. They, give them $100 off or something. I'll do deals. It's to help you win because I can, and I want to, and I want to teach. Why does anybody teach anything? I got a master's. Why did the teacher teach me? He obviously knows economics. He obviously has a lot of money. I mean, it's the stupidest comment I've ever heard. I mean, it's a business, but it's a business that you'll make. I'm sure there's other handicappers, and I'm sure they charge. Then I was reading more, and the guy doesn't even handicap on his own. He hires all these statisticians, and he's trying to do formulas to come up with the lines. He doesn't even know what he's doing. He can't name players on the games, and he doesn't watch the games. And I'm thinking, okay, you can't. The whole point of betting, how you bet, is you got to know the players. We're betting on Mahomes. We're betting on Joe Burrow. We're betting on Russell Wilson. We're betting on Brady. How the hell can you bet and not know the players? That's insane. That's what you're betting on. You're betting on the skill set, a good player versus a bad player. That's how you bet. And then you justify the line. If the line makes sense, you bet it. So I don't really get a lot of this guy's comments that just don't make any sense to me. You know, I'm a professional. You know, I know what I'm talking about. You can tell by if you listen to my video, listen to the Super Bowl video. I gave you Cincinnati in 10.5, and that was a winner with the over. So I'm giving you a reason why I'm picking the game. The Georgia unders, all that stuff. I'm giving you reasons. So I actually know what I'm doing, and I'm actually giving it to you. So I know there's a lot of scammers out there, as in any business. There's scammer accountants, there's scammer attorneys, there's, look at stocks. The whole thing's a scam. Look at gold and silver. COMEX is the biggest scam in the world done by the banks. If any of you watched it, and I'm not seeing a lot of people watching my economics tape, so please watch it. You'll learn. I don't know why. Maybe it's just a bad time. I know they're long shows. Just watch a piece at a time, but watch the one on the trade cycle. It really makes a lot of sense. I try to explain it in English so you understand it, like I do football. But that's my point. So, yeah, I get upset when I read that kind of stuff. Well, the guy doesn't know what he's doing. He can't bet. He can't do this. He can't, this is, you just put a math guarantee you. I've been doing this since really 1968, 69, I think is when I first started betting, when I was like 10 years old. And I've won just about every year. I might have had one losing year. I don't recall. Most of my years I'm winning because I understand what I'm looking. I'm looking for the Georgia under every year. I'm looking for the Miami of Florida over. I'm looking for the Cincinnati. I'm looking for that every year. And once I find it, and that's what I do is find it. I find Joe Montana. I find Jimmy Johnson at Miami of Florida. I find that. That's what I am best at. And then I win. I make money off of that. How you cannot know the players. Miami had Bernie Kosar, then they had Michael Irvin. How you can bet a team and not know the player means you're doing math, means you don't know what you're doing. You can't use math formulas and just say, oh, if the line's 3.5, I'm taking the dog and be successful at it. I mean, good luck. If you follow those guys, good luck. You're not going to make money. But I guarantee you, it's extremely difficult to do what I do. It's extremely difficult to win doing what I'm doing. Because not only you got to pick the winner, you have to have money management. You have to have bankroll management. You have to know how much to bet, and then you increase as we win and decrease as we lose. And when you find that strong lock to bet it properly, that's how you win betting teasers. I taught that over and over and over, and I try to keep teaching it. So if you know what you're doing, and it's very hard, believe me, there's maybe 1% of the people who bet, maybe 1% of the handicappers, let's say, that are at my level. And of the people betting, I'm sure most of them don't have a clue what they're doing. If you don't listen to me, they probably bet 500 a game, and win or lose, and don't have a system. They just keep betting it. I was sitting at a poker table at the Venetian, and Michigan was playing Kansas State in a bowl game 6-7 years ago. Tyler Lockett was on Kansas State, and the Michigan quarterback was hurt, and the line moved. I locked Kansas State. I think it went from 4 or 5 to 7 or 8. And I locked Kansas State. I love Kansas State, and I knew Michigan's quarterback because I am Michigan. Knew was no good. He'd never played before. The other one was injured, and Michigan wasn't very good that year anyway. So I locked Kansas State, and I'm sitting at the poker table, and some guys go, I'm betting on Michigan. And I said, why? He said, well, because I'm betting against the line. If the line's moving, everybody's going to be wrong. I'm going to bet the other way. And I looked at him like, but the Michigan quarterback's out. They don't have a chance. How are they going to score? They can't. He didn't care. All he cared about is the line moved up. I'm betting against the public. A normal game, maybe you're right. If everybody's healthy on both teams and the people are making the line move, okay, I get that. but the quarterback on Michigan's out and the backup is not very good. How the hell is Michigan going to do it? So I kind of debated with him for 5 minutes and said, but the quarterback's out, don't do it. He, of course, made a big bet on Michigan. Kansas State beat them by 25 points. Spread was 7 or 8. I'm teasing it to 1 or 2 as a lock. And I just looked at him like I tried telling you, like, because it's the frustrating part for me is when people don't believe me because they see all these other people. I think that's the most frustrating point of life for everybody. You make a comment, I'll tell you to buy gold and silver, and everybody looks at me like I'm out of my mind. That's why I'm doing these economic telecasts, because it's coming right from the horse's mouth, and I'm not the horse. My teacher's the economics guru is teaching it. So I'm telling you, this is what inflation is. This is why gold and silver protects you. They're printing money, da, 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 da. So you're not getting it from me, you're getting it from them. So when people don't believe me or don't trust me, I kind of get a little bit like, and I could say, well, they're lost, but I have this thing in me that I don't want people to get hurt. And so when I'm teaching you football or when we have our discussions, take Cincinnati in the Super Bowl in 10.5. Yes, the Rams have Aaron Donald, but Cincinnati's got Burrow and Chase, and their defense isn't that bad. They walked into Kansas City and won, and they walked into Tennessee and won. The Rams aren't better than those teams. Why would the Rams blow out Cincinnati? And of course they didn't. And you can make the argument again. Georgia, Alabama. In the second game, I had Georgia and I had the under, and they won. And I just remember Alabama's going to win because they're Nick Saban and da-da-da, and the refs cheat for them and da-da-da. And as much and they got a lot of bad calls, Georgia still won the game. So I have an eye that shows what's going on. I can interpret and make a decision as, can Georgia beat Alabama? Can Cincinnati beat the Rams? Can Cincinnati play with Kansas City? Are they going to go over in the Miami of Florida and UCLA games? I have an eye to understand that, and I got my sixth sense, my spider sense of what's going on, and I always sense that, right? And that's what I tell you, I get a feel. And when I get a feel, you bet it hard, because when I get a feel, it's gold. So as I know what's going to happen in gold and silver, and I got that feel, and I get the feel for the football games, I just sit there in disbelief when somebody is kind of like, yeah, I've heard that before, and it's not going up, and yeah, you can explain it. I'm still going to bet the Rams, even though you give me Cincy and you give me a good reason. I'm going to bet the Rams because, or my cousin Fred told me, or I heard some guy on the radio tell me. And that's the problem, right? There's so many guys that don't know what they're doing that when you meet a guy like me who actually knows what they're doing, you have the doubts, you have the things. This is why I post the videos. This is why I post the pic. Go to my bowl video, and I leave them up there. And I go, I think 19-2 for bowl season. I'm hitting Army. I'm hitting Air Force. I mean, Baylor, Oklahoma State. I'm locking Ohio State over. I mean, there's 7, 8 locks I hit, and I would have had 2 more if UCLA and Miami of Florida would have played. So I prove it, right? And then if I don't know how else to do it. Okay, I'm going to give you the winner, and I'm going to give you the reason. And the game, like Georgia under against Michigan, and Georgia under wins, and I don't know what else to say, right? I'm like, I told you, you see the reasons and you see the result. Okay, what are we missing now? I don't know what I'm doing. I told you how to bet it. I don't get it, and that's when I read an article like that, it makes me upset, because I am one of the few that really knows what to do, how to bet. Yes, of course, you look at the spread, but I'm a sharp, but I look at the spread when the spread's good. It could be day one. It could be the last minute. This guy was saying, well, at 9 a.m, I was laying, I took 5-point dog, and then at game time, it was a 3-point dog. And so all I had to do was they could lose by 5 instead of 3. And I won because I had 5. And my point is, you should have bet it because it was a good dog. And you should have bet it as soon as you saw the line good. And that's why I argue that the sharps wait till the last second to bet. If you see a 3.5, like I have at the Super Bowl at 4.5, I think it ended at 3, and I was able to get Cincinnati in 10.5, and I knew that's a key number, 10. So as soon as I saw it, so I analyzed the pick first, then I see the line and I see 4.5, and I grab it. Yes, I agree. You should be at as many casinos as you can with the counts. Now, normally I tell you William Hill is good. It's the best odds, and you get good lines. And yeah, stay away from FanDuel and the Mirage because their odds aren't any good. So you first want the best odds and then the best line. But you got to keep looking at the line. And when you see a 4.5 and you want the dog and you're going to tease the 10.5, bet it. Maybe it goes to 5 or 6, but that. And that was the other thing. The guy says, very few people know where the line's going. Well, what do you hear from me every week? I know where the line's going because I know where the money's going based on it's all popularity. So when a Alabama line starts at 6, I know it's going to 8. That's not hard. The money's going to go on Alabama. The money's going to go on Notre Dame, Ohio State, Tom Brady, Kansas City. It's not hard to understand where the line's going to go. That's a very easy thing because, again, the line is a popularity. It doesn't make the game even. It's who's more popular. So in Alabama plays anybody and it starts at 7, it's going to go to 10. So if you want to bet Alabama, it right away. You don't wait till it's going to go up. That's not hard to figure because the money is, I don't know who to bet. I'm going to bet Alabama because they always win and they got Nick Saban and da-da-da-da-da. I'm looking at the game from matchups. Can LSU with Joe Burrow beat Alabama? Hell yes. Can Georgia beat Alabama? Hell yes. Are they laying down? Is Georgia going to lay down against Alabama to let them in the playoff? Hell yes. Now you get the rematch. Is Georgia going to lay down in the championship game? Absolutely not. And you're going to get the real Georgia team. The one you got against Michigan was the real Georgia team, and then the one you got against Alabama. What do I say? The defensive team can win the game. Any team with a really strong defense can beat a good offense. The Steelers' 2 Super Bowl wins against Dallas in the 70s. You had the best defense against Dallas. Did not have a great defense, but they had the great offense. Well, who won? Pittsburgh, because they were able to shut them down because they had the greatest defense ever assembled, maybe the 85 Bears and maybe one of the Lawrence Taylor teams, the 90 or the 91, the 90 Giants with Taylor, Carson, Banks, and all those guys. Possibly that. But that's what you're looking at. See, I give you the reason why. Now, why am I doing that? Why don't I just say, just bet Georgia under? Okay, I'll put 10 units on it, and I'm selling my picks, and da-da-da-da-da. But I don't do that, do I? I give you the reason why. I want you to learn. That's what you're paying for is my knowledge. You're paying for my brain. And yes, it's an ego thing that I can pick it and I want to share it with you. But I charge as anybody would. An accountant or a lawyer charges too, and they know their stuff. So it's just to keep it as a business so people understand. Yeah, Howard's, Teaserking, professor, it's a business, and that's what he's doing. That's why the charge is not very high, but it's for credibility, right? Oh yeah, he can charge because he knows what he's doing and he's good at it. And I hate that insult of, well, I don't know how to bet, so I'm trying to get money and scam everybody because that's what handicappers do. They don't really know what they're doing, and it pays for their bets. And it's an insult. And I hate when people do that. Now, I looked for the Google article, and they kind of switched it. So let's see if I can get it back. I'm kind of trying to see what it was, and I'm hoping it comes back. Suspension bruise. No. No, I don't see it. So it's on the Google app. You know, when you just go into Google and you just go for the story, it was there this morning, and it really kind of upset me, inferring to handicappers as scammers, because I do not like scammers. I don't like liars. I think you got to be honest. And I think that's why I go into so much detail on these shows. So, I know what I'm talking about. I can't possibly say take Georgia under and I'm explaining the defense to you and not know what I'm talking about. What you pay me for is to find the Georgias. Then you can go ahead and bet it. And you don't need me, but you need me to find it. What I'm trying to get you to the point is where you don't need me, where you listen to my shows and you go, oh, who's the good defensive team? I'm going to bet them under. But again, you've got to get Georgia against Arkansas, where they both have good defenses, and the over-unders in the 50s. So you got to understand all that information. So that's what I try to teach you, is it's not only if the over-unders were 38 in the Georgia games, we wouldn't be locking it. It's no good. But when they're in the 50s of a Georgia, I think Georgia, Michigan was 52 or something. We could go under 60. That's a lot because you're not scoring a lot on Georgia. But again, if it's in the low 40s, then it's not a lock. So that's the other part of it, is at what line is it a lock? Because the line determines the lock. So I do that with all of them. But I watch the games, and if I can't watch the whole game, I'm watching the highlights. I got to see who's injured. It's all based on the player. So this guy saying he doesn't even watch the games, and I'm like, how the fuck can you bet on football and not at least watch the highlights to know, or read the box scores? You've got to know the player. That's the key. Is Tom Brady playing? If Tom Brady's not playing, you don't bet on Tampa. You can't do the math. The formula doesn't work because Brady's not in the game, or Peyton Manning's not playing, or Aaron Rodgers isn't. I mean, you can't just blindly take Green Bay without that knowledge. So I don't know who this clown is, and what kills me is he's got all these analysts looking at numbers for him. What the hell is that? I'm by myself. I'm the analyst. I don't need 13. I don't need to pay 13 guys and then try to take credit like, look at me, I can pick. And I'm sure he doesn't talk about the losers. So he says, oh, I make this money, and I've been the best line is I've been banned from the casinos because I bet sports. So I can't bet sports. What an idiot. I mean, how hard is it to you make some small bets, and then you give your girlfriend some money to make some bets? They're not going to know. I mean, you don't bet $1 million. Well, even Holyfield bets millions of dollars. He's there. They didn't ban him. I don't know if he wins or loses, but so I don't buy that. I know casinos can ban somebody for winning to a point, but I just I don't know. I've had bookies leave me because I win so much, but I don't really bet with the casinos unless I'm in Vegas, like William Hill. But William Hill, I'm not betting $1 million a game and making $20 million and go boom. So that's what happens. So you got to be careful with that, but we're not at that level. And I hate when people go, well, if you really know what you're doing, you'd have $1 million. You'd have won millions of dollars. And I'm going, well, you bet what you can afford. I can't afford to make $1 million bet because I don't have $1 million. Now I win, and I bet what I can afford. And you see my picks. You see I won 50,000, but I can't bet $1 million. 50,000, very nice. I'm very happy. I hope I made you guys 50,000. I can't tell what you guys bet. And then I can't tell, all of a sudden I'll get a surprise. Somebody will tip me, and he gives me $500, and I go, what's this for? And he goes, well, you just made me $5,000. And it was a customer. And I don't know if he's always a customer or he's watching my picks. And then he's just, okay, I'm going to bet your picks, but I get a lot of that. I've been watching you for 5 years. You made me $100,000. And I'm like, oh, well, that's the point of it. So that's why I give the picks, but I try to give the detail because I want you to understand it as you would with a attorney or an accountant, right? If an accountant does your taxes, you certainly should know what's going on. If an attorney does your divorce or does some business law or accident, you certainly want to go, I don't understand what's going on here. If you got a business and you have a CPA do it, you should certainly ask, what's going on? What's my budget? What does my financial look like? What's my cost? Da, 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 da. And go from there and try to get to the bottom line. And that's what I try to answer. So as you can see, I know what I'm doing because I'm giving you the explanation and we're making good money with that. So yes, there are handicappers that do know what they're talking about. Yes, there are handicappers that don't know what they're talking about, that just lie to you. And I remember when I was growing up, there'd be a guy, he'd give Chicago's playing Detroit, and the first guy calls, he gives Chicago. The next guy calls, he gives Detroit. And they go back and, I know 50 people are going to win and 50 are going to lose. And 50 will be happy and 50 will be sad with absolutely no thought process on why. And just here's the pick. And a lot of handicappers will just give you the pick, right? Here's the pick. Then you got these guys that just give you the numbers. Well, they're 52% as a home favorite, da, 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 da. And the line is it's over 3.5. So I'm taking the dog, or it's over 7.5. So I'm blindly taking the dog. Or my favorite, I don't cross zero. So if the spread's -2 and I can get +4 and I think the -2's low, I know there was a couple of games like that this year where the spread was like -1.5, and I thought the spread should have been -6. So now I'm getting half in a teaser instead of laying 1 or 2, and I bet it, and I crossed zero, and guess what? I won because the line wasn't even correct. So this is why I make my own lines, and my own lines are based on making the game even. Who do I think's going to win? And there I go, and the first thing I do is I say, let's look at the game without the line, pick the score. That's your spread. So if you pick 24-20, and I think that's what I picked in the Super Bowl, was damn close to it was like 24-20, and it ended at 23-20 or something like that. So not only did I pick the score, I obviously picked the line, and we obviously won with it. That's the key. That's the first key, is picking the score without the spread. And if you can do, and so you've got to get better. That's your first inauguration. You pick 30-20 and it comes in at 56-18. Okay, you're not close. So why aren't you close? And then get it closer. And that's really the key to it, is understanding why you missed. Okay, and then you rank the teams, their overs, their unders, their A's, their Z's. And then when A's play each other, it's probably going to be a closer game. And when an A plays a Z, it's probably going to be a blowout. And then you look for a bad line, and then you attack, and then you bet, and then depending on where you are, you never bet your whole bankroll, and then you just slowly increase. So it's a beautiful plan that works. That's worked my whole life. 1969, I started betting teasers in 77 when my dad told me about them. I feel like Sergio, the professor. Well, it's my dad's plan. He got me into football, and he got me into teasers. And but I understand why a team wins. Offense, defense, the quarterback. The key is always the coach, the quarterback, the defense. And is the offense balanced? Can they run the ball? And usually that's the keys to look for, and that's what I try to teach you. Listening to this handicapper, he had no keys. He's like, well, nobody can pick it, da, 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 da. Obviously, sour grapes, because he listened to somebody and he lost money, and he's going, oh, nobody can pick it. I get that all the time. Nobody can pick football games. And I go, I can, and I'll prove it to you. And that's what I do. And so I think a lot of my passion is to prove to people I know what I'm doing. And these videos are to say, we're taking Georgia under, and here's why. And I explain it to you, and you know it. And then from that, you go ahead and you make money, because we know why we're betting. Now, it's not 100%. That's impossible, but we're definitely in the 70s. And and then I get my hot streaks like the Bulls. I go 19-2. That gets me into the 70s. Now, according to this guy on Google, nobody can do that. Nobody can go 19-2, 90%. That's impossible. 55%, you did well. Okay, well, I did 19-2 in the Bulls, and I hit 7, 8 locks. I would have hit more if Miami and UCLA played. We would have hit those over. Those were nice over games, but they didn't even play. We still had 8 locks and 19-2. So that's what you're looking at. That's what I do. And that's why, so sometimes I have to talk about that, because that just doesn't, I just don't like that when people do that. So you found a real handicapper, a real sharp, somebody really picks. You see the results on teaserking.com. We made 50 grand this year. You've seen the shows. You can go back into my bowl show, and it'll go pick by pick by pick. And you go, yeah, the fucker had Georgia under, and he had Alabama under against Cincy, and he had, Ohio State over, and he had Baylor, Air Force, Army. You can go right down the list. You see the games. He set them. My video's out a week before the games or 2 weeks before the games. All you can say is go, yep, he had Baylor. Baylor won. He had Oak State. Oak State beat Notre Dame. He had Ohio State over with Oregon. They hit 100. They were over at halftime, I think. So, I mean, there's the proof. I'm not telling you the truth. We'll go watch the video and you'll see it. So, anyway, yeah, I get angry when somebody just does a whole paintbrush. All the handicappers are scammers. Nobody can do it. 55% is good. And here I am in the 70s because I have figured out the keys, and that's what I try to tell you. So I'm really here as your teacher, as the professor, to educate you, to teach you, because I want people to learn how to do it. Why? Well, why would I do that? Well, because that's what I want to do. I want to teach. I like teaching. I enjoy that you figure it out. And I'll see guys and they'll put out a score, because I make this live, so it's interactive, and then somebody will put a score up there, Tennessee 26, Florida 21. I know what he's doing. He's listening to what I'm telling him, and he's trying to pick the score so he can pick the game. And that's what I want. That's the first thing you need to do. Pick the score of the game. Then look at the line and see if if the line could be way off, because the line's very confusing. The line makes the betting even, not the game even. So if you think it's going to be the Super Bowl 24-21, 3-point game, that's what you had, was a 3-point game. So the teaser at 10.5 is gold. But had the line been 7, and you think it's a 3-point game, boom. Same thing with Georgia, Alabama. They had Georgia favored, but some of the games where you got the wrong, I think, what was it, Baylor or Ole Miss? Ole Miss was favored, and we like Baylor, and we love Baylor. And when Baylor was dog, we jumped all over them and had Baylor in 7.5, and they win the game. That's what we're looking for when the wrong team's favored. Or, again, it gets bet, right? Mississippi might be more popular than Baylor, and therefore the Mississippi money goes, and that's what happens. Or Notre Dame, Oak State. I knew the money's going to go on Notre Dame, so I took Oak State and I locked it, and they win the game. We're getting 8.5 points. Now the coach left, and I figured, wow, the coach is gone. How are they going to win without their coach? They played pretty well, Notre Dame. From what I could see, they won the first half, and then Oak State turned it on in the second half. Same thing with Rose Bowl. I mean, they played. The thing you got to watch out for was like the Nevada game when the quarterback sits out. Okay, now you've got to be careful. If you do bet it early and then the quarterback says I'm sitting out, then you've got to erase the bet, betting the other team and just straight up. And there's nothing you can do. Play it like an injury. But I hate that. I hate when these guys sit out the bowl games. What else? So that's really the key. I think we understand it. And we understand that I know what I'm doing and I'm teaching you. And you can see the videos and we go through a lot of the games with explanations and you see the results. So when you see an article like this, let me check again. Maybe it came back on. I don't know how to get to the history of it. Keep looking and hoping it'll pop back in. Let's see. Nope, I don't see it. But anyway, if people badmouth, handicappers, just realize you found one that knows what he's doing. And I try to stress that in the videos. I'm not here to scam anybody. I'm not here. You can see I post the results. I post the history. You have explanation, and that's why I do the shows in depth with explanation. I haven't sneezed all show. Anyway, so I think that's about it. Any comments or questions? www.teaserking.com. I think I offer a fair amount for the service given and the amounts won by you guys. I know my one friend who didn't believe me at first. He won a lot of money. He's buying cards and gold and silver, and that's proof that he made money and that he does listen to me. So if he's making money, I'm sure you guys are too. So anyway, please watch my economics shows. It's classical or Austrian economics. Even if you're Keynesian, which is the governmental, I try to explain it from a neutral standpoint. I'm not trying to knock Keynesian, but Austrian is what is successful and what you should really listen to and follow. So I'm going to do another one. Let me find my notes, and I'll do a third one right now because I'm in a talkative mood. Okay, everybody. Well, good luck. Thank you for watching. Watch those economic ones. All right. Soon, the NFL draft. We'll be back with that. Keep up with the free agents. Again, we got Russell Wilson moving. Rodgers is staying in Green Bay. Brady's still at Tampa. Mahomes is still there. So we'll get ready for next year. Okay, everybody. Let me know if there's questions or comments. All right. Have a great day. Thank you. And watch those economic shows. I'm not seeing a lot of viewers, so I'm like going, no, it's good stuff. You should watch it. All right. Thank you.